Hi everybody, and welcome back to Yukikaze Gaming. Today we're going to be trying out Ixion. This was just something I came across on Steam, looking through one of the Steam recommendation things. I can't remember what they're called. The little lists that they come up with for each individual person. I went through that. This showed up on there. It's not actually out yet. This is just a demo. The game is still pending release, I think sometime later this year. I'm not sure how this will play out. It's a base building game, which is definitely my kind of thing. The graphics look cool, which made me want to at least give it a shot. I'm definitely getting kind of vague Frostborn sort of vibes from it, in terms of the way the difficulty looks tuned and everything. It looks like one of those kind of make harsh decisions kind of games. But won't really know for sure until we try it out here. I'm going in mostly blind. I just kind of saw whatever little bits were on that page. So I'm experiencing this for the first time right along with everyone who's watching, unless you've played it before. Let's give it a shot, and I am very intrigued. I mean, this splash screen looks very nice. You can tell that they have a lot of this being based off of textures if you look very closely. Most of this is probably very hollow, but it still looks very, very nice. I'm expecting this to be pretty for a game of this type. But I'm really concerned that the gameplay is just not going to be something that I can handle. I am a pretty experienced gamer, but some types of games, especially at certain difficulty levels, I mean, you're just designed to fail, and you know, can't always win everything right off the bat. So time to see if I make a complete fool of myself. Press any key to continue. Alright. Now, one of the interesting things about this kind of recording format is I'm, all on my own here. I don't have anybody directly with me that I'm talking to. I'm just kind of talking to all of you as the audience. Alright, we've got some voiceover. Some nice sci-fi flavor here. You can tell they put a lot more work into the mechanical aspects than the people, but that's fine. The people really aren't the focal point here. They're mostly just kind of a background element that you're not really supposed to notice, and they're always tiny and kind of almost out of focus. But the rest of this looks just so pretty. At the very least, the mechanical feel is on par with, like, StarCraft 2, which is older now, but still had a nice look to it. What I was saying before, though, is, there's nothing really for me to bounce off of or play off of here. I'm just bouncing off of the audience that I can't directly interact with, because I'm not streaming, I'm recording videos, and the game itself. And having to kind of play and talk off of my own observations and everything as we go, which has the unfortunate tendency to turn this into kind of a stream of consciousness rambling session for me, but I guess that's content?
Welcome on board, passengers.
I kind of have a thing for those sort of sci-fi female computer voice sounds.
EMV Charon is now docked. Sector 1 empowered and pressurized. Munchie decontamination protocol online. Disembarkation authorized. Message to crew members. Welcome on board the Tycoon, property of Dolus
Tycoon, I see what they did there.
Corporation. You will soon be given your assignments, but until then, please continue to wait near the docking bay. We hope you have a productive voyage, and would like to thank you for your contribution towards humanity's future. Administrator, I am Eden, the personal assistant installed on board the Tycoon.
I hope you'll continue to be our savior.
I have been designed to take into consideration your complete psychological profile so that I may more accurately respond to any needs you may have. My primary purpose is to ensure the Tycoon's automated systems function efficiently. I will keep track of the tasks that are necessary for you to fulfill your prerogative of reaching Proxima Centauri and carrying out field research, mining operations, manufacturing protocols, and Dolos colonization tests.
Okay. So this is, clearly tutorial, which is great, because I'm definitely going to need one. I have been noticing that the little people down there just kind of keep reaching the end of their path and then turning around and walking another way. I assume I need to connect these paths so that they can actually go somewhere at some point as part of this tutorial. That's a nice kind of way of showing that, but it also gives it this weird, Lemmings vibe. Completing my earlier thought, this female voice thing really makes me think of the adjutant from the Terran campaigns in StarCraft and StarCraft 2, which really kind of set that specific kind of sci-fi tone for me formatively. So, it's good feels when something really captures that vibe successfully.
Administrator, I wanted to introduce you to your first tasks person. I'm Dolos' cryonics lead. Marduk Council member Giovanni Battista.
And why? Yeah, okay. Dude's definitely eating something while he talks to me.
Your first objective will be to begin setting up essential infrastructure aboard the Tycoon, meeting the environmental conditions that are required to support your crew. Having laid these foundations, you will then oversee the installation of the Vol engine and perform a short test jump to Proxima Centauri. Upon arrival, your research teams will carry out a brief survey of local space, gather a few rock and coal dust samples, fire up the colonization protocol, begin building the foundations for mankind's future, yada yada yada. And then, you'll come back.
This guy, the reverb effect,
You'll need to familiarize yourself with the type.
Felt like it probably should have been some static or something instead.
There's the production, stockpiling, and distribution of resources.
Since this is actually a human, there's no reason for it to reverb like this.
Oh, and space exploration, setting out expeditions and all that. Basically, everything needed to establish scientific advancement and harmonious autonomy on board the Tycoon following the first test of its Vol engine. Eden's gonna display and keep track.
I think this is an indie game, by the way, which makes it all the more impressive that this looks as good as it does with all the lighting effects and everything.
To center Dolos' focus on the Tycoon, but this mission is just in preparation for our next project, the Protagoras. The Marduk Council worked damn hard to pull this mission together ahead of schedule, So, toe the line.
Oh,
Do
good
your
for
goal,
them.
and bring the Tycoon back in one piece. Leave the grand gestures and saving of mankind from ecosystemic destruction to us, okay? One last word about
Alright,
it.
so mankind
We
is
all think
screwed.
like the Near Dolos. As of yet, no human law has been officially established amongst the stars. That sounds like an opportunity knocking to me.
Alright, so we're already planning to rape the resources of the new planets and stuff that we go to. Great. Build a workshop, tutorials, general information compendium. It's great to have these kind of compendiums as a reference, especially for someone who wants to quick jump back and look something up later. It's not really necessary for it to always have to blink about everything every time. I hate having things that blink at me as UI elements, and I really don't like feeling compelled to have to go and look at the stupid compendium entry every time for something that I just learned in a tutorial or something like that in the game. So in my mind, that's not really good design, and I would rather not see that implemented in that manner. To do something like that one time, maybe, just to kind of draw attention to the fact that there is a compendium, maybe even make it part of the tutorial that, you know, you draw attention to the existence of the compendium. But, you know, it really kind of also goes against the idea that you should show not tell, and your tutorial shouldn't just be a whole bunch of text like this. Now, this is still a demo, so I can't say that this will reflect the final state of the game, of course, but I strongly suspect at least this compendium will be set up looking very similarly. I'm not even really reading this, by the way. I just feel habitually compelled to clear all these blinking things, whatever the cost may be, even if it ends up being my enjoyment of the game to the extent that I end up stop playing it in some cases. Certain cell phone games are particularly egregious in that respect, and you log on and it's just the super cluttered UI of all kinds of blinking things all competing for your attention, to the point where you can't even see any of the stuff that you're originally supposed to be looking at on the screen, and that's a great way to lose me very quickly early on in a cell phone MMO or something like that. Alright, enough of that. Hopefully that was paused while I was doing that. We can see it's probably prompting me here to build what I assume is the workshop. Yep. Sending a construction mech to construction sites. Okay, cool. So, alright, we've got some kind of placement overlay. We've got a grid system. I don't know that this has to be connected to anything. They haven't really covered that yet. But I'm guessing if you don't have this, near some kind of... And it's got this facing on it. I'm pretty sure, right here is kind of the optimal placement that they gave me for it. But you can rotate it, so I could drop it there, or there, something like that. But let's just assume that this is what the tutorial wants from me. Go ahead and drop it right here. There are no roads connected to building entry points. Well, it sure looks like there were to me. Connect the workshop with a road. Okay. So, I guess you have to, in this game, kind of manually add a road like that. That feels kind of dumb to me, but whatever. Does the job, apparently. Build a stockpile. So, sure, we're back to building whatever this is. Stockpile. Where do I want that? Let's drop it here. And presumably that needs a road as well. But it first wants me to set it to store alloy. Okay. Let's get that out of the way. So I guess it can only store one type of thing? Or maybe it just stores whatever if you don't set anything. It seems to work kind of like the stockpiles that you usually see in more like medieval town building management games. Apparently I've got access to a whole bunch of additional stuff now, but I still kind of imperatively need to build this one piece of road. Yep, so as predicted, this stupid thing is going to blink at me every time now. I don't want to read it. If I get stuck not understanding something, I'll probably go back and read those at a later date, but I just do not want to click on a vacant area to construct a road. I'm done building roads. Collect 40 alloy. Alright, how do you do that? Resource supply available for collection. How does the collection process work? Stored 0. Alright, so I guess this is the part where I go back and look at the compendium, because I don't understand what it's supposed to do there. Sure, that's just a bunch of descriptions of what the things are. They can be upgraded, okay. Need to transfer the resources. What's a sector? They haven't told me that yet, as far as I know. Supplies have been left to finish construction. Stockpile has to have a resource set. Okay. To harvest supplies, click on the icon. Resource transporters will transfer the supplies to the stockpile until the source is depleted. Okay, so I guess I have to manually do that for each one. Oh boy. Alright, so... Okay, I don't know if there's any reason to not click something. I guess if you don't have enough storage available or something like that. The incoming message from the big giant head.
I have established a connection with Dolus's lead data scientist, Emma Klein.
Yeah, and this is something I'd really wanted to do on this channel, is take the opportunity to play like random stuff like this. This will probably just be a one-off of some kind.
Given the importance of the Tycoon, we must have full control over what is happening inside the station. My name is Emma Klein, Dolos' lead data scientist and member of the Marduk Council. My department have just completed final synchronization between Eden and our data treatment tool, the DLS. The DLS, or Data Listening System, is capable of scanning, recording, and parsing exchanges of any kind. The DLS programming that is a part of Eden will filter all data collected and bring to your attention only the most relevant information. It will also provide you with a condensed overview of any situations that may arise and formulate potential future outcomes. It will permit you to give direct orders without having to go through additional unnecessary paperwork. Eden will then take care of everything via their DLS accreditation. As is often the case with tools produced by my department, I think you'll find that once you start using the DLS, you'll never be able to do without it. Oh, and before I let you go ahead and start writing history, Dr. Munchie, our lead medical expert, wanted me to bring to your attention a possible side effect of wool jumping. Well, there's a correlation between prolonged space travel and the development of early onset dementia. He believes that a vol jump has the potential to accelerate this process, although this is yet to be proven. His recommendation is for you to immediately send any crew members that are exhibiting uncharacteristic or symptomatic behavior to an infirmary, as these facilities are equipped to treat the mind as well as the body. Remember that all of your actions and choices are being reported by Eden. We are not affiliated with any national or even international organization. The only people that you are answerable to are those of us who sit on the Marduk Council, who represent the collective interests and ambitions of the company.
Okay, these expedition and lore dumps are just a little bit too long, and a little bit too dense. I would have liked to literally have been able to get a word in edgewise against this person at some point there. I feel like it becomes just this massive distraction from the actual gameplay itself. You want to keep these stabs a little bit shorter, ideally, and a little bit more to the point. Maybe break them up a little bit, or at least insert a couple of seconds between the dialogue. It's not normal for an actual human being to just go from paragraph to paragraph without even, like, taking a breath. So that's a little bit nitpicky, but as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by Emma Klein, Communications and Data Specialist. I would like to, use the opportunity on the channel here to play some of my Steam backlog and things like that. I've got this huge library of games, both on Steam and on my physical shelves, on consoles. I'm still working on getting the console recording set up in place, but I've got some of the basics going for that, or at least on the way. And event available. Yeah, and I think this is what she was hinting at before, is these, again, kind of Frostpunk style issues that are going to pop up, which their system is bringing to your attention. It's all just lore, flavor, reasons behind why we're able to get these events the way that we do, and okay, well, and I should read that out loud when I get a moment here. And why you're able to see what the outcomes will be of reacting to some of these things with the various options. But again, as I was saying, I really want to get through some of the backlog and have this be kind of a motivator to help me play, like, random stuff that would normally be a little bit outside the box for me, as well as, a few of my favorites and revisiting some of my old favorites to share with you folks on the channel. Alright, Administrator. Tiquan crew members currently have no means of collecting food supplies from storage. That seems like a problem. Analysis suggests impending crisis due to an influx of hungry crew, and subsequent accident rates are predicted to rise by 64.7%. Not to mention the death by starvation. Neocon's social ecosystem theory suggests that refectories can be used to both ration and distribute food provisions in a stellar habitation setting. I get that they're trying to put flavor there, but it's a kitchen. Like, yeah. Anyway, commitment to providing food for the crew would reaffirm your position as a competent administrator. Actually, I think it would just help prevent me from being viewed as utterly incompetent, with the entire crew starving to death. But that's a nice, mild way of putting it, I guess. Sure, and data listening protocol. I guess I have to build this refectory thing now, which is probably under food. Yeah. Prepares up to 10 food for up to 100 crew members every 0.5 cycles. I guess we're on cycle 25. Just connecting everything here. I still have not figured out if I'm actually supposed to be, like, connecting all these roads together. I imagine I'm supposed to at some point, but, yeah. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I'm supposed to actually place it closer. Yeah, I think that's where my issue's been. That's good to know. It varies by game whether that positioning is supposed to be like that or not. So you do see some games where it's all about you know, preserving that little space at the front to make sure that, you know, there's nothing obstructing it, because that's actually technically part of the building. And then you've got games like this where it's supposed to be part of the road. So now I feel kind of weird and awkward that I've placed things the way that I have. That's going to bother my OCD a little bit, but it is what it is. And let's get you off the screen. While that's going on, let's take a look at some of the other things here. Crew quarters. Alright. Docking bay constructs mining ships, cargo ships, and science ships. Infirmary. Science to unlock new buildings and upgrades. Okay. No technology tree. Can't access the data listing system. Literally a resource management tab that's currently locked. Population management. Are we going to be setting birth rates? I'm not sure what to expect from that. That could be a way of saying that we're going to specify jobs for people or something. Unclear. We'll find out later, I guess. Fleet management. I have no ships, as expected. But that does imply that eventually I have to manage fleets. So I guess that's a thing. I guess these are maybe just trading ships, but I'm not totally sure. And then obviously mining ships are to gather resources. Exterior view. Very pretty. Love that. Now this is the part of the flavor that really shines through, and you can rotate it. Wow, that is really nice looking. Now, I want to be clear that I'm being kind of nitpicky about some things here, especially for a game that's, you know, a demo and not released yet. But then you've got these gorgeous moments like this, and, you know, that's A, that's actually Earth down there, but B, it's not Earth as we know it. You can see that we've got what appears to be, yeah, North America down there, but everything is brown. The entire continent is completely dried and desiccated. There's no visible vegetation as far as we can tell from space. And they mentioned earlier that, you know, there was some massive damage going on to the ecosystem, and, you know, this is kind of humanity escaping to the stars, presumably to terraform and, you know, continue our existence that way. Although, you would think if we're capable of terraforming, we might be able to use that same technology on our own planet to kind of fix how bad we broke it. But I guess the idea is that with terraforming, you know, you're using it on something that isn't already supporting a population that's outstripping the capacity of the planet to support it. I guess, you know, that's the best theory I've been able to come up with, at least. I'm not sure if I'm actually moving the space station a little bit when I do this, too. I guess probably not. It's, one would think it's in geosynchronous orbit. But I love that Ludo narrative that they have going on there, and that attention to detail, using not only, real land masses that we're familiar with, but also modifying them within the context of the game to actually fit the narrative that they're giving us. That is the kind of show, not tell stuff that you really look for, that told us more about what's going on here than that entire, 6 paragraphs that we got from that NPC. Now, don't get me wrong, there's reasons to have those NPCs as well, not the least of which is that having those NPCs helps make things feel lived in, and helps reduce the feeling, especially in a game like this, of the loneliness, the crushing loneliness of space. Because without that, you can certainly... wow, very cool. Now, I imagine people who play 4X games that take place in space are kind of more used to this sort of thing, but I don't play this genre of game all that much. As much as I do enjoy this kind of setting from time to time. But, wow, yeah, that's very, very pretty, very kind of breathtaking view here. Even the detail on the sun with the solar flares, it's not just, some white ball in the center. It's a reasonably accurate-ish, from what I can tell at a glance, depiction of the solar system. I don't doesn't look like anybody's blown up any planets yet or anything like that. Mars, healthy competition. Summary of intelligence concerning Mars probe report. UN have established a facility on Mars. They are currently lacking the materials required to repair a critical fault in their oxygen supply system. They have submitted an official request to Dolos for aid, waiting on science ships, so it's nothing we can do there yet, as expected. Saturn, dark side of Saturn. Summary of intelligence reports concerning probes in Saturn's orbit. Signature resembling that of an EKP propulsor has been detected. EKP propulsion technology is the exclusive property of Dolos, yet records indicate that the company has not deployed any missions to this sector. Signature will soon enter the atmosphere of Saturn. So, I guess somebody stole our tech, and we gotta go track them down and murder them and take it back or something. The full engine isn't ready to go yet. Fleet management is directly available from this, I guess. Don't really need to worry about that yet. We don't have any probes. Really, I'm clearly not supposed to be on these screens, but I just wanted to take a look and see, because I had a sneaking suspicion that it would be very pretty, and I was not disappointed. We've even got all this debris in the asteroid belt and everything, which I think actually is supposed to be a bit farther out, if I'm not mistaken, because I think it's actually supposed to be out past Jupiter and Saturn. But maybe there's another asteroid belt that I'm not aware of. I know that, Saturn and Jupiter got their rings in some fashion from something like this at some point. Anyway, back to the actual game and gameplay. So that wants me to build a second stockpile. It's a good thing this is a tutorial, because I'm just kind of dinking around and not really getting anywhere. And that probably would cost me pretty severely if there was anything actually at stake here. So, but hey, that's the benefit of tutorials, right? You can kind of take your time, hopefully, and, get to learn what's going on before you have to worry about the pressure that comes with the game. So we'll make another stockpile. I'm not sure what it wants me to harvest with the stockpile, but I'll attach it over here this time and see if this actually pans out. Okay. Okay, so I have a workshop over here, and this is where the roads are going to come in, because now without these connected, I'm not going to be able to get my worker over to actually construct this thing. So, which didn't necessarily need to be put over here, but, you know, I was experimenting, and that's what became of it. So, how do I want this road to look? Let's go... Let's just do that. There's probably a more optimal way to do that in terms of, you know, making sure that buildings are going to fit just right and everything. I'm not really thinking that far ahead in this as of right now, for a couple of reasons, not the least of which is we don't even have enough information to do that kind of meta-knowledge gameplay yet. Oh, okay. So apparently if you scroll the mouse wheel enough, it actually just zooms you straight out of the space station. And that's pretty cool, but slightly disorienting coming back in. Not too bad, didn't make me immediately want to vomit or anything, but maybe more sensitive viewers might be a little bit nauseated by that. Available power. So clearly you need to build some power plants of some kind at some point. You know, if we take a look at this resource thing up here, it's pretty complex. There's a lot of different resources. And that implies depth, but really what it actually is complexity. And complexity can, if used correctly, allow for more depth, but it isn't necessarily depth in and of itself. Alright, set the stockpile to store food. That's reasonable. We've got, yep, that is in fact food. We've got someplace for people to eat the food. It's probably helpful for us to have someplace to store it. Alright, incoming transmission.
I have an incoming transmission from Marduk Council Member Henry Bargeville.
Bonjour, Administrator. What a wonderful day to embrace our fate, don't you think?
Oh no, the space
I'm
French!
Henry Bargeville, writer, philosopher, lobbyist, but most of all member of the Marduk Council.
And he's a
I have to
lobbyist.
confirm that I have personally arranged an exchange, out of courtesy with the Oceanabi, a ship in high orbit belonging to one of our commercial allies, the Ashtongites. Even though they are a small organization, the Ashtongites are important partners who share the same pragmatic, moralistic, and spiritual outlook as we do. The Oceanabi will provide us with a source of food while carrying out the Tycoon's initial testing. By making it the first exclusive trade partner of the Tycoon, we will demonstrate to our long-term allies that Dolos wishes for them to share in our successes. Please assign a cargo ship so that we can check the trade routines. Administrator, trust in genetic kinetics. Self-similar space will reveal the pattern.
I did not understand what the heck you were saying in that last part, but okay. Construct a cargo ship in the docking bay. Construct a science ship in the docking bay. Oh man. Science ships collect science points. Losing a ship team member will make resolution of events slower. To replenish a crew, your ships will have to return to the Tycoon. Okay. That wasn't really a timely piece of information. Do I actually have a docking bay? I have a workshop. So I think it might be implying that I need to construct a docking bay, without actually telling me to construct a docking bay, which feels a little weird that they suddenly switched to making that assumption that I'll just kind of figure that out, but no, that's a tech lab, infirmary, docking bay. Okay. I don't have the resources to build the docking bay. How do I... Okay, so there's multiple... That's what they were talking about with sectors. I guess this thing rotates when you get... Okay. And then the other sectors are empty right now, though, so it's not a problem. Not really relevant. Housing. So... I mean, oh, jeez. Docking bay is most large. I am quite certain that I would know if we had a docking bay already based on that. Yeah, because we've still got this fleet management. It's still empty. Oh, okay, that actually is a docking bay. Never mind. I guess I can probably... Can I cancel it? How do you... You can pause it. There's not... I don't see any way to, like... sell it. Or destroy it, or cancel it. Building deletion tool? Okay. It's fine to have a building deletion tool thing like that, but usually you want also something in the clickable interface UI here that allows you to sell the unit or structure. That's a pretty common feature in games of this type, and a lot of players will expect that to be there, such as myself. Alright. So I need a cargo ship and a science ship. Three crew died of starvation in Sector 1. That probably has to do with the fact that I don't actually have everything constructed by roads, which I probably should at this stage. So, my bad. Get all the people actually having access to the cafeteria if we want people to not die. Oh, more people dying. So... Yeah, my little lemmings here have all just been kind of walking in circles until they drop dead. And I should probably go ahead and collect this food supply. That's probably part of why so many people are dying. Alright. Okay, so I think I've successfully queued up both of those. Still a lot of people dying. That's not great for me. Our population isn't that large, so this may become difficult now, which is pretty bad for a tutorial. I was kind of under the impression that time wasn't really advancing in that sense, and probably spent a little bit too much time kind of screwing around and talking. But hey, oh, 3 more crew died. I mean, at this point, there is food. It's kind of their fault if they're not going to eat it. Although I guess a lot of it is still being brought to the cafeteria, and they're kind of consuming it as fast as it can get there. So, there is that. But yeah, the actual starvation is probably something that they should have mentioned. Even though it feels kind of obvious, they almost intentionally tried to draw attention away from that, which it feels weird. Like, that was the most relevant part of that conversation, and they intentionally beat around the bush to not tell you that that would be the impact. So I guess, oh, I don't have the resources for this, which is why it's not progressing. I need to click these, but I don't have a warehouse for them yet, so I'm going to have to build, I think, another... another stockpile. Put it over here, and I'm gonna have to dedicate. I guess I can't do that until it's already constructed. Okay, so this is amount utilized out of maximum, not amount remaining, which is good to know. That's made more evident down here, but nothing's really been calling my attention to that as of yet. Okay, we've finally reached a state where people aren't constantly starving to death, so that's an improvement. Now I need, based off of the previous tutorials, I guess this is polymer, whatever it is, I need to store that there, and I need to pick it up from these locations, and only once that's stored can they begin construction on the docking bay. I feel really dumb for saying I would definitely notice a docking bay earlier. I mean, to be fair, it looks completely different over on this side than it did over here. But that is what it is. They probably even mentioned it was a docking bay at some point earlier on, but no real relevance had been established for it yet at that stage, so... Okay, you'll need a fleet, which is composed of cargo ships and mining ships. Your fleet is semi-automated and needs orders to function. You can order cargo ships to retrieve up to 3 different resources with varying priority, and order mining ships to drill for 1 resource at a time. Okay. So, food is what we were told we can get, which we can see is the only resource available for collection. And I guess that takes care of that. I don't really know how to assign the specific priorities. It's not really relevant yet at this stage. Alright, resolve the moon event. That's not an event we saw before, unless it's... is it this? Administrator, reports are being received relating to the Bargeville clean optimization protocols on board the Tyquan. Tycoon, whatever. Tycoon. They indicate that the Tycoon crew members are being overworked, and although Dolos employment contracts are designed to provide a high degree of flexibility, it is beginning to take its toll on morale, as it does when you overwork people consistently. It would be pragmatic to deploy additional crew members or reduce the number of concurrent active workplaces. Alright, I guess we request additional resources. We did have a lot of crew die. Hopefully this will yeah, only some of them, but that second option was definitely a very Frostpunk feeling thing. I wonder if this is the same company, actually. Could very well be. I didn't check. Interior view, okay. Yep. Oh, yeah. Most buildings need workers in order to function. However, if a sector doesn't have enough workers, its inhabitants will turn to overwork to keep the facilities running correctly. Overwork is based on the total workers needed. The number of fit workers present in the sector, injured or starving crew are not able to work. Just having a really hard time keeping food in store. Maybe it can only hold 5 at a time? Not sure. Okay. Well, it asked me to take care of this moon issue, which I guess probably involves this. Yep. Moon, abandoned base camp. Summary of intelligence connected from the abandoned base camp. The base is out of commission. Auxiliary systems are operational and may be used to restore power. There's an average probability of finding resources. Waiting for a science ship. Okay, so my science ship isn't actually ready? Or, no, it is ready, and I have to deploy it to the moon manually. And then once it arrives... Okay. Summary of intelligence collected from the abandoned base camp. The base is out of commission, auxiliary systems are operational, and may be used to restore power. There is an average probability of finding resources. Is abandoned depressurized, but the video for surveillance system is still functional. Awaiting orders. Hacking into the surveillance system, the Archimedes team will find a way to access core systems and retrieve any confidential scientific data present. Gives you some science. or dismantle the camp to get science and other resources. Takes longer, though. Okay. I mean, that seems like the better option, unless you need to be done faster, but we can't see the values, so without knowing the exact amount that you get, it's hard to ascertain. If we assume that all other things are equal, then this is probably the better bet for us at the moment, even though it'll take longer. While that's happening, I should probably check on the fleet. We've obtained all the available food. My people will eventually starve to death if we don't find some way of harvesting some. So, yeah, we lost so many crew members. All because I was too busy staring at the pretty sun, which, I mean, when you put it that way.
A science ship team has completed a task.
Summary of intelligence collected. We saw that part already. Dismantling in progress. Camp has been dismantled. Although much of the equipment was damaged, we were able to prepare some usable resources for extraction. Great. So we got some stuffs. Alright, well, thank you for joining me on Yukikaze Gaming. Hope to see you guys next time. If you enjoyed what you saw here, please support the channel with a like, comment, subscribe. Most especially subscribe. That's really the thing that will help me out the most if you enjoy this, and you will get to see more content coming out if you subscribe, which is a win-win, hopefully. If you didn't like it, well, then what are you still doing here? Hope you all enjoyed, and see you next time on Yukikaze Gaming.